Good evening, everyone. I am welcoming us to the first webinar for this week. And this is the third week of this course. By God's grace, we should finish this particular course by next week. So today we are looking at choosing a career path in the data ecosystem. The data ecosystem consists of a lot of careers that an individual can choose from. Some of these careers are actually related such that you can start from one and then you can navigate to the other aspects. And that is the beauty of the data ecosystem. And another beauty is that you can also navigate from some of this career into the AI ecosystem. And that is why we are going to be talking about some of the careers in the data ecosystem that actually have one leg in machine learning and artificial intelligence, and they have the other end in the data ecosystem. So the objective of this course, of this particular session, is that we want to see when an individual should be a data professional and when they should not. And I will list some of the technical roles that are in the data ecosystem. So this is like a career advice for the first topic of this webinar. We are still going to the other topics as long as the time permits us. So if somebody wants to be a professional in the data ecosystem, now I am talking about the technical roles. So when we talk about the roles in the data ecosystem, we are talking about the technical and the non-technical roles. For the technical roles, everything I'm saying here stands. However, for the non-technical roles that we are still going to be speaking about in this lecture, one who does not possess some of these attributes can still go into the non-technical roles. However, if your goal is to go to into the technical roles, believe me, you will need some of the attributes that I will be explaining here. Number one, you must love mathematics. You do not need to be a mathematics guru. You understand? However, you must be somebody who loves numbers to some extent, because data analysis has a lot of mathematics and some statistical concepts in order for us to really make sense of our data. So anybody who hates maths may not be able to go far in the advanced non-technical components, but the person can still be able to do the non-technical components, but may not be able to do the advanced technical components, but can still do some basic technical components. Like this program now, the first two courses, which qualify for the basic certificate, can still be done by someone who does not really like mathematics so much. The second aspect is problem solving. You must be a problem solver, because what are we using data for? We are using data to generate insights. And what are the purposes of these insights? Their purpose is to drive solutions in organizations, in businesses, and even in research. So the role of a data analyst or a data professional is someone who provides solutions to problems using data. I was doing a program where a professor of data science and computer science was asked what was the greatest attribute he wanted from a student who wanted to study data science. And the professor said what he wanted was somebody who could solve problems, somebody who was curious, and somebody who had the ability to think beyond the box. He said as long as an individual possessed all of those attributes, he was going to teach the person the technical skills that they need in order to become a data scientist. And believe me, the professor could not be more right. So the other aspect is teamwork and collaboration. Like I said in some of our earlier seminars, that you see, as a data professional, you are going to be working in collaboration with teams. In fact, you are going to be working with stakeholders and other team members. So you cannot do it alone because you are going to get your data from different teams, from HR departments, from marketing department, from sales department. You are going to have a reason to just have to interact with other people. And that is why teamwork and collaboration is very, very important. If you are that kind of person who does not like to relate with people so much, you like to do your own things alone, believe me, being a data professional is not going to suit you, particularly the technical roles, because you cannot do anything in the technical roles without collaboration. We are still going to be talking much about this later when we'll be looking at data insight presentation. So how to present your findings. We are going to be talking about some of these aspects of collaboration and teamwork. If you embark on a data analysis project without a very effective collaboration, believe me, you are going to end up with a very wrong output. Then the lifelong learning. If you are going to be in the IT ecosystem generally, or you want to be an expert in this generation, believe me, you have to continue to learn because things are changing rapidly. 4 years ago, if you wanted to become a data scientist, you did not need the knowledge of cloud computing. But today, it has become one of the basic requirements of being a data scientist. 2 years ago, you don't really need to know so much about a particular concept called large language model. But today, it has come again, and if you are going to become a data scientist or a full end, like a full stack data scientist or a machine learning engineer, you also have to start learning large language models. So the industry is evolving rapidly, and that also requires those who are experts in the industry to also be following the trend. So these 4 components are very important out of several other features that are required, such as communication and so on and so forth. But these I have spoken here are the foundational features that you need to have in order to become a technical person, to take a technical role in the data ecosystem. If you do not possess all of these, I think you can just stop at the basic level. This basic certificate, just know some of the concepts we are explaining here, understand Microsoft Excel and Google Spreadsheet, Google Sheets, and then you can build a career as a non-technical person in the data ecosystem. And I will still be speaking about those non-technical roles as we continue in this session. Now, these are the roles in the data analytics ecosystem. So you can see data scientist, machine learning engineer, data analyst, data engineer, AI specialist, marketing analyst, NLP engineer. NLP stands for natural language processing, which is actually on how a computer can process natural language from speech to text. We talk about big data experts. We spoke about big data last 2 weeks in the second webinar. So I believe all of us here now understand what big data means and why it's required an expertise on its own. I said it in the webinar that people go as far as doing PhD in big data engineering. Research scientists, I spoke in the last session on how people brought a breakthrough in science, in the financial industry, through the use of machine learning and the use of advanced data analytics processes, business analysts and co. There are still several other roles in the data ecosystem, but these ones are the basic ones. So in conclusion, we have been able to look at when a person should think of becoming a technical expert in the data ecosystem, and we have been able to look at when they should think otherwise. And we also spoke about some of the basic roles, the technical ones in the data ecosystem. So let us move to the next topic, which is the technical roles in the data ecosystem. We have spoken about them just now, but let us look in details to some of the fundamental ones. So we are going to be looking at the common technical roles. We are going to be looking at their places in the ecosystem. What do they do? What is their primary role in the ecosystem? And then we are going to be looking at the type of skill and the type of tools that is peculiar to each of the role. Now, for a data analyst, generally the goal of every data professional is to drive solutions using insights generated from data. I think I have said this over and over again that we are doing this course not just to teach you how to use Excel. We are not just here to teach you how to write a Python code. No, we are doing all of this so that you can offer solutions in your business, in your organization, in your own research, even as an academic, so that you can use data as a raw material to provide solution in different manner. So data analysts focus on descriptive and diagnostic analytics. If you do not forget, our last session, we spoke about what a descriptive analytics and a diagnostic analytics meant. We said that descriptive analytics is all about looking into the data and see what the data is saying. So we looked into the sales of last year, and we discovered that the profit the organization is making is now reducing. That is descriptive. And we spoke about diagnostic analytics, where we wanted to look at why was the sales reducing. So these two levels of analytics is where the data analysts actually specialize. So they don't really do so much about the prescriptive and the predictive analytics usually. So their own is just to look into the data, ask questions from the data, and then generate this insight, analyze the data, and present it to the stakeholders. So they collect data, they clean the data. We have been able to discuss the meaning of data cleaning. They analyze that data after they have cleaned it, and then they also visualize the data in order to present it, and then they present the findings to the stakeholders. However, the word data analyst is a very tricky word because some data scientists actually like to refer to themselves as a data analyst because, like I said before, that statisticians have been performing the role of data analyst for centuries, and it is the evolution of big data and also the evolution of internet and digital products that has actually made the whole ecosystem to become gigantic as it is now. So a lot of guys in the industry, even though some of them can even perform the roles of a data scientist, they still prefer to call themselves a data analyst. If you check my profile on LinkedIn, what I wrote there is data analyst and the healthcare analyst, even though I am proficient with machine learning and even some basics of cloud computing. So majority of guys just believe that the word data analyst covers everything when it comes to all the four levels of analytics. But as time goes on, majority of experts are trying to say that data analysts basically focus on descriptive and diagnostic analytics. So some data analysts, like many people, can actually do advanced statistical analysis. They can also manage some database. They can do some data pipeline and do some machine learning methodologies. So some of the skills needed include spreadsheets, which include Microsoft Excel and Google Sheet, which we are going to be covering in our next course. So, and I'm saying here now that our Microsoft Excel materials are already on our YouTube channel. So we can check all of our Telegram pages. The links to the channel is there, and also the video on how you can navigate correctly on that channel is also there. So I expect some of us to start looking at the Excel course already, so that by the time we start our Excel webinar toward the end of the month, it's going to be something different. We are going to be dealing with projects, and believe me, if you have not been going through the materials, you will be finding it difficult to follow those projects. I am not coming to this webinar for Excel to be teaching what you have taught or what you have released on the YouTube again. Rather, we will be doing projects on top of projects, building different solutions using that software. But you must understand some of the basic principles first, and that is why we released those materials since last week, so that we can start looking at them. So please, some of us, let us start looking at our Excel materials on our YouTube, so that by the time we start the webinar, we will be able to follow comfortably. Good. Now, data scientists. Like I said before, they focus on predictive and prescriptive analytics. But I said before that you cannot do anything with data without the fundamental processes which start from data collection. So, as a data scientist, even though they focus primarily on predictive and prescriptive analytics, which is all about building models using data, yet they still have to do data collection, data cleaning. You have to do exploratory data analysis, because you cannot build a model on the data you do not understand. So if you do not understand the data, then you are going to build a model that is going to be very useless. Now, they also do data visualization, because you cannot do exploratory data analysis without data visualization. So we are still going to be talking about exploratory data analysis either in this course or in our Excel course, because it is a fundamental skill for a data professional. So they also focus on advanced statistical methods, because machine learning is an evolution of statistics. So machine learning evolved from statistics. So in order for you to be able to do some advanced machine learning processes, you will have to understand some of the core fundamental concepts of statistics. So they train model, they build a model, they train the model, they evaluate the model, and they present their findings to the stakeholders. So they can also do database management, data pipeline, and co. So these are some of the skills: spreadsheet, business intelligence tool, SQL, statistics, machine learning, and some basic cloud computing. So data science or data scientists are being referred as the sextet job of the 21st century. Why? If you look here now, if you look to this screen, this is data science. So data science combines machine learning, math and statistics, research, domain and business knowledge, technical solutions such as programming languages like Python and Go, and then some computer science. So when you see somebody who calls himself a data scientist, and you see a guy who understands machine learning, who understands some mathematics and statistics, who understands how to do some research with data, and the guy will probably have a domain knowledge in one industry. In my own case, my domain knowledge is healthcare industry, and then some knowledge of computer science, which includes some cloud computing and understanding programming languages. So at least a data scientist must be able to handle one programming language comfortably. Usually Python is the most popular now. However, there are some guys who are even proficient in more than one. So now we are looking at a data engineer. So data engineer are those guys that ensure that useful data is made available for analytical processes. So in order for us to get data from different areas, we need some data engineering. But if you have a small company or a small organization, a data analyst or a data scientist might have to do their data engineering themselves. However, like I said, when we discussed ETL and data pipeline, I said it then that if you are going to be using some of those methodologies in your organization, probably because it's a very big one, you might have to get a data engineer who will automate and monitor some of those processes. So if I am working now for a very big company, I don't need to do so much of data cleaning because the data engineers would have ensured that the data are collected from different sources, well cleaned, and they are stored in a database or a data repository. We are still going to be talking about data repository data. So they are stored in those data repositories and well organized. So other people like data analysts, data scientists, machine learning engineers, when they want to do any project, they will just come to those data repositories, pull out the data they need, and then go and do their job. However, if you are working for a small organization, you might have to do everything by yourself. So, like I said, ETL processes, database management, extensive data cleaning and processing. Data engineering requires advanced technical skills, and it is suitable for large industry. Let's talk about business analysts. Business analysts are those people who have a proficiency between a data analyst and a data scientist. So they have some proficiency that is a little bit above that of a data analyst. And at the same time, they may not be so full into machine learning and code like a data scientist, but they are in between. However, they specialize in the business domain. So, and business analysis is also a whole world of its own. People do masters and PhD in business analysis too. So, if you are that person in the business world, such as probably you are doing courses like business management, business administration, you are an accountant, and co. In the commercial area and co. Business analysis is one of the areas that you can actually look into. They are one of the top guys in the tech industry and also in the data analysis ecosystem. So they have advanced technical and domain-specific skills, and they are suitable for large industry. Machine learning engineer. So machine learning engineers are people who are in between a data scientist and a software developer. So we spoke about machine learning models. So when we build a machine learning model, in one of our courses, we have spoken about machine learning. And so when we build a machine learning model, we have to put that model inside a software. For example, now, the recommendation engine that is recommending videos and content on YouTube is a machine learning model. However, how do we incorporate that model inside the YouTube system? That is the work of a machine learning engineer. So machine learning engineers are guys who understand some software engineering, but those guys can do everything that the data scientists can do. So they can handle data, they can clean it, they can build a model. From that data, they can evaluate the model, and then they can deploy the model, and then they can maintain the deployment. So machine learning engineers have advanced technical skills. So for a data scientist, what you just need is probably one programming language like Python. But if you want to be a machine learning engineer, you will have to get some other programming languages, probably like Java and co. So they build and evaluate machine learning models, they deploy and maintain the deployed models. So they have advanced technical skills, and they also understand software development and cloud computing. They understand cloud computing because majority of the models are going to be deployed in the cloud. Some of us don't know what cloud computing is. Probably we are going to be talking about it in one of our webinars. So now I believe that machine learning engineering is not the sexiest skill in the data ecosystem for now. We believe that it has beaten data science because when you have a machine learning engineer in your company, the guy will do almost all the work of a data scientist, and at the same time, the guy can do more than what an average data scientist will do for you. So in conclusion, we have been able to talk about some of the common technical roles, such as data analyst, data scientist, machine learning engineer, data engineer. We spoke about business analyst too. We spoke about their place and also the type of skills that is peculiar to each of them. And then we move into this third session, which is about the non-technical roles in the data ecosystem. So the first one is AI and data ethicists. There is something called ethics. Ethics is all about regulating the usage of data and AI tools in this age. So it is a whole industry of its own. So if you don't like technical rules, you can actually be an ethicist, somebody who just ensure, who work as a consultant. There are courses on this area. You can go and do them, but you won't be able to get most of these courses if you don't understand some of the things, some of the concepts that we have covered already in this course. And that is why this first course is a general course that anybody who wants to venture in the data ecosystem, whether as a technical expert or a non-technical expert, should actually do. So if you understand some of these concepts, you will know the reason there should be some ethical regulation when it comes to the building of data and AI products. So they focus on ensuring that data collection, data storage, and the usage follow appropriate ethical guidelines. And the same thing goes for the AI. So you can, if you are in this role, you can work as a consultant. So if organizations or companies want to embark on an AI project, they can come to you to ask you to give them some ethical guidelines, some ethical consultation on how they will not run into trouble. So we are still going to be doing a topic next week, which is going to be on data privacy and data governance. When we do that webinar, we are going to understand the work of these particular people. Good. Then we talk about project manager. Project manager oversees the overall process of data and AI projects. So if you want to build like AI product or some advanced data analysis project, you will need a project manager. But how are you going to be a project manager when you do not understand what your teams are doing? So a project manager is somebody who will head the team. And project manager is actually a general role in the IT ecosystem. Today, I still spoke with a project manager who is doing some advanced work in the healthcare industry. So the guy actually asked me to come and give my opinion because of my domain expertise in the healthcare industry. And he analyzed, he has done some interviews with some of his users. We call it user interview. He has done some of those user interview, and the guy has been able to put those data that he collected into a spreadsheet. So I told him that, should I analyze this data for you? He told me that I don't need that. He could actually analyze those data by himself. So I discovered that the guy could use both spreadsheet and even Python to analyze data. And the guy is a software developer, but he has graduated to become a project manager who is overseeing his own startup. And that is the essence of data. I was also speaking with a friend of mine last month who is also doing project management. The guy is a civil engineer, but he wanted to enter into tech industry and is entering through project management. So I told him that this thing you are doing, you will need to know some basics of data. And the guy said, yeah, there is nothing you want to do without data actually. So, and that is why if you want to go into some of these advanced skills or roles in the IT industry, or you just want to come to your own domain, you can actually benefit the knowledge of basic data analysis like the one covered in this course and the ones that will be covered in the next course. So what are they? They oversee the overall process of data and AI projects, and generally projects in the IT industry. So they are the link between the stakeholders and every team involved in the project. So when you have 3, 4, 5 teams working in a particular project, and then you have the stakeholders, the people who are investing on that project, the people who are the business owners and co. You need somebody who will be an interface between them, and that guy is the project manager. Then we talk about product manager. They oversee the overall process of data and AI product development. So these are the link between the customer needs and the technical teams. So we want to build a machine learning model that will solve some problems. But the point is that that model is going to solve problems for the users. So we have to know what the user wants, so that the engineering team and the technical team can actually build what the user actually wants. And who is the guy who stands to be an interface between the user, who are the customers, and the technical teams who are building the product? And that is a product manager. So these are, if you want to be a product manager in the data ecosystem, who will oversee AI products development, data product development and co, then you can venture into it. So these are some of the non-technical aspects of the data ecosystem. Legal advisor. So they handle every legal concept associated with the production and usage of services in the data and AI ecosystem. So if you are from the legal background, like you study law and code, then you can actually come and do some of these. You can come and do our basic course and understand some of these concepts, and then you can go and do a small course on data ethics, AI ethics, and co. And you become a legal advisor, so that when people want to do AI project and co, they can come to you to help them on some of the legal aspects of those projects. But you won't be able to do much if you yourself do not understand some of the foundational concepts of data analysis itself. Content creator. So content creators are guys who create content such as videos and blogs on data analytics and AI ecosystem. So there are some guys on YouTube. They are not data analysts. They are not any technical guy in the data ecosystem. What they just do is they write content, they produce content and create them and release them on YouTube. And believe me, some of them has millions of followers, and some of them has made hundreds of thousands of dollars doing that on some of the popular platforms. So you can actually be, assuming you are that guy who loves writing, you can create a blog, and what you are doing there is just to be writing about data analytics, write about AI, the new trend, and so on. The marketers. So if you are a marketer and you can specialize in marketing, data analytics, and AI related products, from education resources to software products. So some marketers, what they do is to market courses for academics, that run boot camps for data analysis, education, and co. And they get their own course. And then some marketers actually specialize in marketing AI products. So there are several AI products out there, but you can't be an effective marketer of those products if you do not understand some basic concepts of how AI and data analytics actually work. So there are people who are marketers, but they specialize in marketing data and AI related products. Then we have educators, someone like me, who is creating courses and content that serves as an educational resources to teach and train people on building a career in the data and the AI ecosystem. So as an educator, you can actually work for different institutions at PhD level and go. You can even work for university and so on and so forth. So being an educator itself is a whole world of opportunities in the data and the AI ecosystem. Assuming you don't want to be training data, you can know all these concepts because you want to teach the next generation. So thank you very much. I am happy to see us again. So if you have questions, please let me know. And if you do not have any question, you can round off the session. And we are going to be meeting on Wednesday again. So if you have any question, please, you can write it down in the group chat and I will quickly answer it. So nobody is typing. Good. One of my teachers usually say, if your students don't ask questions, it's either they understand everything you have said or they do not understand anything. So I believe you understand everything. No voila. So on we meet on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we are going to be looking at another concept, and I wish us all the best. Please let us start looking at our Excel materials on YouTube. Very, very important, because By the time we start the Excel webinars, we are going to be looking at projects upon project. And you going through those materials on YouTube is going to be very helpful. So some of the materials on YouTube on my Excel